And then guys, I'm gonna stop my video and mute my mic, and you can take it over from there for sharing your screen, and you two will be in control. And so you guys have the floor.
Well, perfect. Thanks, Kristen. Jason, first, I want to thank Collision Hub for allowing Mitchell the opportunity to present today. We're super excited about Mitchell Cloud Estimating and the product that we've had out in the market for quite a while. Our goal today will be to get you, through looking at the product and maybe understanding a little bit better about how to use the product and how we formulate our stuff and, the data behind it and a few other things, right? So got some stuff at the end of it too, some little promo stuff that Brian Moss and the sales team brought to us and allowed us to put at the end of the presentation. But with that, I guess I should introduce myself. I'm sorry, I'm Willis Colpitz, the Senior Director of Training here at Mitchell. And what I'd like to do is introduce you to one of my senior trainers, John Ertz. John's got quite a bit of shop experience. He's worked in many facilities, managed and knows estimating kind of front to back. Leads part of my training team and does a great job when he's out in the field training shops on a weekly basis when we're allowed to travel. So with that, I will turn this over to John. John will share his screen and he'll do the talking. If you do have questions, please, I believe there's a chat function. If not, write them down. We'll give you an email. You can send us the questions. We'll get back to you. Sales questions, stuff like that, we're happy to forward you to Brian's team, right? We're the training team, so we're not going to try to sell you anything. We're just going to show you how to use the product. So with that said, here's John. John, go ahead and it's all you, buddy.
Okay, thank you. Let me get my screen share here. Can everybody see the Mitchell Cloud Estimating on here now? So
it's there now, John. We see the first slide.
Excellent. Well, this is a presentation on Mitchell Cloud Estimating, and as Willis said, thank you. I am John Ertz, Senior Customer Training Instructor with Mitchell International. So some of the things about Mitchell Cloud Estimating, why use it? First off, its portability. Fully cloud-based product, which can be used with tablets, iPads, smartphones, as well as conventional computers. There's no more waiting on your system to run an update before being able to write estimates. You log in and start writing. The updates, as well as newly added features, are already done for you. Diagnostic scans are automatically attached to your estimate job within Connect when you're using any of the available Mitchell Diagnostics tools. This includes the MD200, MD350, and the MDOE scans. There's detailed vehicle option package contents. This helps to provide a more accurate estimate with fewer incorrect parts being ordered. We also have NADA option selection for a more accurate ACV when you're writing your estimate. This provides a better chance to perform your repairs without prematurely exceeding thresholds. There's also no having to click on a save button, as every added item automatically recalculates and saves your work. So if you get interrupted, as long as you've added the item, it's there. You can walk away and go do something else, come back, your work is already saved. We also have projected estimate scenarios. You can add on certain items, such as suspension components, to see possible complete repair costs. Again, this may help to prevent working on a total loss. We also have direct links to our procedure pages for that section, so you don't have to search through an index to find out what is included or not included with our labor times. With the available OEM integrated repair procedures, detailed removal or replacement information is as easy as clicking the line item icon in your estimate, shown here. We also have guided estimating. Common disassembly components are either included automatically or suggested for selection for a proper and safe repair. And Mitchell uses an outside-in method of estimation, so there is less chance of missing out on repair times if you forget to select every line, as in other systems. There is no having to select a special panel in order to get the lowest amount of overlap deduction. Our labor times are consistent regardless of which panel is selected first within your estimate. Speaking of our labor times, Mitchell Cloud Estimating labor times are researched and developed in-house at our own dedicated technical research center in San Diego, California. We do not rely on data from outside providers for our times, unlike other systems. And yes, we actually bring in vehicles to our own shop, which is shown here. There are additional available options that integrate into MCE, alternate parts profiles and recycled parts, known as MAP and QRP. This gives you the ability to choose the specific vendors you want to search and also specify the parts and part certification types that you want to see. A Refinish materials calculator. This produces a far more accurate amount for paint and materials than a basic hourly materials rate. I'll be showing this during the first demo, how this works. Because paint materials amounts are then based on the actual color code instead of a flat rate. So why get the same amount for an Infernal Red vehicle as you are with a GM Black? We also have the General Motors Collision Repair Network with Mitchell Cloud Estimating. The approved GM CRN shops will have direct access to the GM repair procedures and their scorecard and reporting within Connect and the estimate job. And in addition to the integrated repair procedures, we have TechAdvisor. This is Mitchell's dedicated collision repair standards with available color-coded wire diagrams, printable frame and body opening specifications, and more. And when you're looking at frame points, they show an actual picture of the location where you need to place your measurement device. So for our live demos using Mitchell Cloud Estimating, I'm going to have on demo 1 going over the main features and writing with MCE. My second demo will show you how the Mitchell diagnostics integrate with MCE. And on demo 3, a demonstration of using the special Toyota repair templates. And stay tuned at the end for our special offer notice after the demo. When you're logged into Mitchell Connect, that is where Mitchell Cloud Estimating is. Our menu bar defaults to your open jobs when you're first signed in. And your menu bar here on the left shows some of those items. The TechAdvisor, the option that I was just talking about, is located right here. And you can pull up your information and then gather what you're needing for your technician. This is also available to your technician out at his workstation or her workstation. I'm going to paste in a VIN. And here it shows the options that are available in TechAdvisor for this vehicle. So for this 2018 or 16 Silverado, I'm going to show the vehicle dimensions. It gives which model you have. Looking at a crew cab short bed. And then it loads all of your frame points where you're supposed to be looking at. What I was talking about, you click on the letter, and as you'll see, it will point out the exact place that you need to place your measurement device to get your accurate readings. Down below, it gives all the benchmark data for you for the factory specifications. So as a result, you can enter your damaged. So let's say it's hit on the passenger side and your first is down to 440 and your second is at 360. So now you can do a benchmarked damaged, and it color codes if you're in spec or out of spec or within tolerance. You can print that report out and everything. Chassis diagrams. Again, this is another component of the vehicle dimensions. You can zoom in to get the section that you need, and your technician can use that. They can print these out. Upper body diagrams are going to be your door, window, and other opening specifications. Once again, you can zoom in and print out the section that you need. Going back to our main topics, you can also access restraint system information. And then we were talking about repair standards. These are similar to the integrated repair procedures. The difference is the technician would have easier access to the repair standards within TechAdvisor. Otherwise, you'd have to give the technician access to the estimating system for the integrated repair procedures. So these are also a little more comprehensive regarding things like interior and exterior trim. Also, wiring diagrams. Selecting our wiring diagrams, common items. You can select that, and as you see, they are color-coded. Let me get this expanded here. So as you're tracing circuits, you can highlight and point out the circuits that you need, and then print this out for the technician as well. So getting back to our jobs, other assistance with Mitchell Connect and Cloud Estimating is located down here in the Help section. This is our in-product guidance. So if you're brand new to Mitchell Cloud Estimating, you can use this to learn how to create and add users, people for logging in and how they can be managed. You can learn how to configure your cloud estimating, creating templates and profiles, setting up your alternate parts profiles. Additionally, within the in-product guidance, you have more help available here. These can lead you to a series of tutorials and demos and training videos. That way you can watch over and over as necessary when you add new people to your shop as you expand. How to create new jobs, how to use the OE templates, and so on. And that's all located under the Help area. But now we're going to get on to how to write our demo vehicle. Simply click the plus job in the upper right-hand corner. It starts guiding you through the information that you require to create a job for the customer. Excuse me. When you see the gold band, that is a required field. You can select the first name, last name, or a company. So for this, I'm just going to keep it simple. You can enter additional information as you see fit based on what your shop requires. So in the case, phone numbers, then the phone type becomes a mandatory field. You can add additional contact persons or the owner type, such as insured or claimant. Once you have the data that your shop requires, you can simply hit Save and Next. This brings you to the vehicle information. We'll be spending a little bit of time on this page because there's a bunch of options here that can make your estimate far more accurate. I'm going to paste in a VIN. And now many manufacturers will fully decode. I wanted to use this VIN because it shows this particular manufacturer does not fully decode their VIN. So it gives you an option selection. Does it have a 6 or 7 foot bed? So I'm going to select the 6 foot bed. The secondary decode is this pin information. This happens frequently on trucks, especially 3/4 or 1 ton trucks, where it may ask you if you have a single rear wheel or dual rear wheel. In the case of this vehicle, it's asking which base option package is equipped with, 1LZ or 2LZ. So if things don't fully decode and you don't get an actual cash value, you're missing some of the information. The actual cash value is populated off of that vehicle information along with the odometer and the zip code that you're located in. So I'm going to add some mileage to this particular vehicle. And notice how my ACV has updated from 32,000 to 33,725. Additionally, you can select upfront if the vehicle is a 2-tone or 3-stage, and that will help calculate things even faster so that you're not having to select anything within your estimate. For this example, I'm going to leave off the 3-stage, but I'm going to put in the paint code. Many manufacturers have also supplied us with the paint codes information, so you can place it in here. I am, for this example, putting in a 3-stage white diamond pearl coat. The reason for this is during this demonstration, I'm going to show how the Refinish material calculator will make a significant difference to your bottom line on your paint materials. But scrolling down a little bit, we have this icon over here called labor adjusting. If you see that icon next to one of the items, that indicates that the labor times, if that area is being repaired, will be adjusted to accommodate for that option. Additionally, under the option packages, in the intro, it said that we had the detail option packages. So we can show the detail and you can select based on what you see on the vehicle. I'm going to scroll up just a little bit so that we can still see our ACV, because this is very important when you're starting your estimate. Under these option packages, these will help you to get a narrower filter for options that may be on the vehicle for your estimate. However, as I'm selecting these, none of these are affecting the ACV. The area that you want to make sure that you are accurate on, especially if you have a vehicle that is a suspected total loss, is the NADA options here. These are the options, and if you'll notice the ACV as I select these, it is making the adjustments to my ACV value. That way it helps you to get a more accurate cash value for that vehicle and prevent you from working on a total loss or prevent you from getting to a threshold prematurely and stopping work and delaying getting that vehicle back. Further down, if you so desire, you can select the primary or secondary points of impact. You can make any damage description notes or prior damage description notes and select whether it's drivable or an overall condition. Once we have the data that your shop requires entered, save and next. It brings you to the insurance tab. So we have put in a number of the common insurance companies for you, or you can simply type in a regional insurance company if it is not something in the list. You may also leave it blank unless you've activated it for a mandatory entry field. For this demonstration, I do want to point this out as an insurance estimate with a deductible status that's not waived, which is our terminology for having a deductible. I'm going to enter a $500 deductible. Any additional information would be as your shop requires. Once I click done, that creates our job within Mitchell Connect. If you need to update anything in any of the cards, such as the customer, vehicle, or insurance, simply click on that card, make your update, and click Save. Now, before I get into writing my estimate, I'm actually going to attach photos. The reason for that will be shown during the demo, because you can upload your attachments and have them handy so that you can access them while you're writing your estimate. So if you've already gone out, taken photos of the vehicle, you can attach them first and use them while you're writing your estimate. So I'm going to select my upload.
Hey, John.
Yes, sir.
Just real quick to give you a break. Robert had a question, right? Does changing the vehicle condition affect the ACV?
Changing the vehicle condition, such as the fair, poor, good, no, it does not.
It does not.
It does not.
Thank you.
So let's go back and I'll show that. Go back to the overview. Go back to the vehicle card. So we're at 35,350. I'm going to select overall condition poor. It remains at 35,350. So the items that will affect the ACV is going to be your vehicle data and PIN, your odometer, zip code, and the NADA specified options here.
Perfect. Thank you, John.
You're welcome. Okay. So now I've gone in, I've made my attachments. You can add a description if necessary. You can take a closer view. You can delete them as long as they have not been uploaded to an insurance carrier if you are participating with Mitchell Cloud Estimating on one of the insurance DRPs. So let's go back to our job overview. Now I'm going to go start with the writing of the estimate. It's simply clicking on Write Estimate. Very easy system to use. When the page loads, our standard default menu bar on the far left should have 4 icons: the split view, parts, estimate, and PDF preview. If your monitor or laptop size is smaller, you may only see the parts, estimate, and PDF preview. The advantage of the split view gives you the opportunity to see the repair lines as you're adding them. So if you do have a smaller monitor or laptop, you can usually go to your settings and zoom out or narrow your percentage down to get your split view. You can also filter by all left or all right parts. So if all the damage is on one side, that tends to narrow down some of the selections. The qualified only is where that options filtering comes into play. So if you uncheck the qualified only, it may greatly expand the number of choices you may have when you're selecting parts for your vehicle. So if you've got an accurate VIN and it's decoded, generally select to keep the qualified only on. You may also search parts using the search box. Now keep in mind, if you keep a very minimal description, you might return quite a few parts. So just putting in bumper, 109 different results. If you are converting something from a field written estimate from some of the carriers that use Mitchell, you can also use this line barcode number. So as you're entering items in here, you can put in that line barcode number and it brings it right up to that particular part from that estimate. Our information is laid out front to back, outside in, just like we were saying in the intro. It's sorted out by groups, front, side, top, back, and then the subcategories within each. Many manufacturers have also given us OEM position statements that we can publish. So you have ready access to definite information from the manufacturer to give you repair documentation on your vehicle. So let's start out. We're going to select some parts here. I'm going to go to the front. I'm going to replace a hood. You may either select the number or the line. Once you select it, It activates your quick links. You can remove and replace, remove and install, repair, blend, or PDR. So in this case, I'm going to remove and replace. For this particular hood, it always defaults to a new part and shows you a repair break even. So you could put up to 25 units of labor when comparing with a new part. If you have subscribed to the alternate parts program and or the QRP, you will have a compare button. Clicking the compare will bring you up the list of the vendors that you've chosen and the certifications that you've chosen to search for. In the case of recycled parts, if the vendor has put any part notes in, you'll see any damage descriptions right down here, along with their contact information. For now, I'm just going to select new parts. Click done, and I add the line. I'm going to add a fender. So in this case, you can also double click the line to add a part. Choosing here, since I did not filter to left or right side, it brings up the choices that I have. I'm going to select my left fender. Again, if necessary, here's your compare if you subscribe to it. One thing I want to point out is in this description, it will give you a description of what is included in this labor time for this fender. So for this particular item, it includes R&I, the front bumper assembly, grille, combination lamp, fender liner, and so on. So I'm going to add that line. Additional operation information. Here is our P pages. As a result, I'm not searching through an index. That link brings me directly to what is included and what is not included operations. Hello? Oh, somebody's typing. So anyways, you can see what are included and not included operations for your estimate. And that gives you some repair documentation. Make sure that you have all of the items that you need to get paid for a proper and safe repair. And that link is directly here within each section. No searching around for it. So now I'm also going to do some repair. You may also have additional options within that same vehicle, with or without impact bar skid plate. So I'm going to select my without impact bar skid plate, and I'm going to do a repair of that item. Gives me the options, is it a chrome or a paint to match? I select my paint to match, and then I get to click next. This gives me my refinish operations for that repair. If necessary, you can also apply a partial refinish simply by changing the repair time in here. In doing so, that would also put in the wording modified refinish with full clear coat right onto your estimate for you. But I'm just going to add the 2 lines. Now for a blend operation, let's say we need to blend that front door. I select my panel, I select my blend, and again, then it asks me which option that I have. Left door, right door, and then it breaks it down by regular or crew cab. I select my next, and here is the guided estimating. It's suggesting, do you need to take these 3 components off? And it brings it up for you. If you need to select all of them, simply click the select all. If there's one component or any other component that is not actually applicable, just uncheck it. And then we add the lines. So remembering, adding those lines automatically calculates and saves your estimate for you. We were talking about the integrated repair procedures within the estimate as well. That is indicated by this little book. So on the lines that you have the little book, you can click on it and bring right to your integrated repair procedures. And it shows you step by step everything that you need for that item. Now, we were talking about the Refinish materials calculator option as well. So we've put on these operations: repair the bumper, replace the hood and the fender, and blend the door. If you recall, I deliberately did not select the 3-stage in my estimate, the vehicle information card, even though I chose the 800 3-stage Pearl. So our materials rate is currently based off an hourly rate. At that $476 is our total for the paint and materials for these operations. So now I want to change over to my Refinish materials calculator. I can go to my estimate profile, calculations, and I edit that, and I changed my paint materials to the RMC Refinish materials calculator, and I select waterborne or solvent, whichever I am painting. Once I apply those changes, it will update my estimate for me automatically. So we were at $476 originally in our paint and materials, and now it shows that I have one new update on my lines. And just by changing that, it went to $821.41 for the exact same labor operations and paint operations.
Hey, John, another quick question, if I could, please.
Sure.
Hey, so if you forget to select that at the beginning, like you did on purpose, you can go back and select that at any time and not have to rewrite the sheet. It doesn't wipe the sheet out or do anything. You just can select it and it'll make that adjustment for you.
That is correct.
Perfect. Thank you.
And that's exactly the next step that I was going to do, because when you look at here, it's calculating still for clear coat, but my Refinish materials are calculating in my RMC report as a 3-stage. So it is bringing down my 3-stage method in the Refinish calculator. The difference, the big difference, is the time. Because when you do not select that 3-stage wording in your estimate, and I'm going to go back there and do it now, that will not recalculate your labor times to add the additional time required for that 3-stage operation. I suppose going through all of these networks. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to my estimate. My paint materials now went up just a little bit, but my 3-stage labor time has now recalculated and added for the additional labor required for that prepping for 3-stage. Now, I also talked about the Refinish calculator is based on the color code. So this was the 800 white diamond pearl. I'm now going to change over to a 3-stage red. So I'm going to take out my white diamond pearl coat, and I'm going to go to a limited edition red pearl. Same labor operations, exact same labor times that you have in here, but now we're going from a white paint to what was needed for a red pigment vehicle. And look at the difference that it made for the paint materials. We went from 476 to 800 to 1,020, and that's a very critical amount when you're using a Refinish materials calculator. And if an insurance adjuster or independent wants a report, invoice, there's your invoice. Vehicle, VIN, paint code, method, there's your materials invoice. all within the system. Pretty easy to do. So now, common items that are not generally in the database, things like corrosion protection, cover vehicle, clean and retapes, those are listed under My Templates. Other estimating systems use these as part codes or standard items. So we do include a group of suggested items within here that you can program your own dollars and labor times in for yourself. And that way you can select them as necessary. If it is something that's already on your estimate, it will be highlighted for you, such as our 3-stage here. Our reference sheet information also gives you things like towing, storage, shipping. Hazardous waste disposal can also be pre-programmed right up front so that you don't miss out on a very important item to collect for every vehicle. Additional operations such as your diagnostics, pre and post repair scan information that you can add. So if you've searched through the templates and reference sheets, still can't find something, you can add a manual line very easily by clicking the plus manual line. And in Mitchell Cloud Estimating, we give you the option to place it within the estimate where you want it to be. You don't have to go in and find the line that you're looking for, highlight it, and then add a manual line right underneath it by right-clicking and insert line. So in this case, I'm going to select front bumper. I'm going to say it's a clean and retape. I'm going to enter my labor time and some materials cost for the tape. And then I add the line. So there it goes, right under my front bumper. But oops, I actually wanted that to be on the door. In other systems, you actually have to delete it and then recreate it. With Mitchell Cloud Estimating, you simply open it up, go to the kebab, and move it to where you want it. And speaking of these templates, you can either go into your settings and create them, or you can create them on the fly. This particular one, I just created it. I want to save that back into my templates because I'm going to reuse this over and over and over again. So instead of having to get everybody out, go into settings and create it like in other systems, once again, I click my kebab, save to my templates, select where I want it, or even create a whole new category and click done.
Perfect. Hey, John, another question popped up.
Okay.
Hey, is there an option for flex and underhood color operations within the material and or labor?
The flex additive is generally in the My Templates or reference sheet that you can pre-program in for your flex additive items. The materials allowances, when you are refinishing it, as you see here, when you select a new repair hood or a new panel or even a recycled panel, it automatically adds for hood underside.
Perfect, thank you.
Yep, same thing with fenders. It automatically added for me the left add to edge fenders. So those times are automatically added for you. The options would be under a repair operation. So if you were to repair that fender panel, so let's go back to that. And you can select this labor only operations right here. So if you needed to do a repair, you can do some additional refinish fender areas, upper brackets. You can click on the view details, and there is your additional edging that may be necessary. Does that answer the question?
After I'm unmuted, yes, it does. Thank you.
Excellent. You're welcome. Glad to help. Okay. So as you go along, again, you can preview your estimate. A reminder, here is your integrated repair procedures. Click on that, and it shows you the OEM repair procedures for that item. You can also click this OE procedures up here. This gives you a line by line with the booklet here. This one will bunch them together as well, so that you can open up multiples at the same time and print them out that way. If you wanted to email your estimate to the customer, so if you're standing there with the customer and they say, can you email it to me? Share PDF. You can email it directly from your computer, tablet, smartphone, iPad, whatever it is. The only thing I would point out is let the customer know that it comes from the address of No Reply Mitchell Cloud Estimating at Mitchell.com. That way, if they have their spam filters set so that it blocks things with no reply in it, they're aware of that. Otherwise, you can simply download it as a PDF and put it in your regular email. Exporting the EMS, you can choose if you're doing an EMS file or a BMS file directly out of the system as well. In the intro, I also talked about the projected estimate scenarios. So we've been working on a primary estimate. So just like other systems, we have related, unrelated prior damage. What they don't have are projected scenarios. So I'm going to take this projected scenario. What it does is it loads my entire estimate that I've already had into my estimate scenario. We're at 4513.74, but let's say we might have some suspension on this vehicle. So I'm going to go to my suspension. I'm going to select a hub and bearing. Once it loads, there we go. Left, add line. And as we see, it starts to calculate some additional labor time and parts right in our projected estimate scenario by adding the lines. And this will give you a better idea of where you might be if those components become necessary before you actually get started on a repair. Once you have the information that you need, if you need to add these to it, you can simply click Add All Lines to Primary, or if you only need a couple of the components, select lines and choose which items that you need, add them to your primary, and once we return to our primary estimate, they are now added in as well. Okay. Any questions about how the projected estimate scenarios work?
Hey, John, I'll ask a quick question because I think it's
Sure.
just a fun question to ask, right? Many times, we see total losses come along and people want to keep the original estimate, but only really, deal with the tow bill and or the tear down costs that are associated with that total loss. So could you use that in a situation where your predicted estimate has everything and then go back and change your primary to just that tow and tear down, and then you have a history of what the actual estimate was that you wrote?
You with the projected estimate scenario, if you save that in there, it will stay in there. Yes. So if you change all you,
if you have the history of both. Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So to preview the estimate, how it looks. Where's my mouse? There it is. It went over to my other screen. Here is a view of our estimate printout. You can add a logo in the upper corner, your shop information, the estimate ID, customer information, appraiser, insurance if applicable, and then the vehicle information. And if there's any parts profiles, such as if we selected aftermarket parts, it will show up where you're getting them from here. As I stated earlier, we sort front to back. So even if you started your estimate with the rear bumper and worked your way forwards, it's going to sort it from the front to rear anyways. That's the reason why we don't have any differences between our deduction overlaps. So you don't have to select a specific panel to get a lower amount of overlap on the next one. We also have 3 views that you can choose depending on what you prefer. The view that you're looking at now includes what we call the CEG values. CEG stands for Collision Estimating Guide, and you can see where you may have overlap times. You can select and program your system to show a standard view, which eliminates the CEG column. And if your municipality requires labor dollars to be shown on the estimate, we also have that option as well. Down below, it breaks out our totals by category. All of your labor totals, your parts totals, other costs and materials, and then your gross total. And the reason why I chose a deductible on this, it breaks out your customer deductible and it highlights it in bold so that there's less likely chance of someone missing on collecting that deductible from your customer. One important item to point out, when we commit an estimate or lock it, it goes through a final check. For vehicles and manufacturers that use the daily price link, once you commit that estimate, it gives you a quote ID. That quote ID is valid for up to 120 days, depending on manufacturer. Without that quote ID, if that customer doesn't come back for, say, 3 months, that price can significantly be different on those parts. But this gives you a quote ID right here so that you can have that same part price. Even if those parts doubled in price, you provide that dealer with that quote ID that we've provided for you, and they have to honor your original parts price. So as a result, you don't have to worry as much about parts price changes when you're committing your estimates. So I'm going to commit this estimate. And the reason why I've chosen a GM vehicle is because of our integration with the GM Collision Repair Network as well. Previously, we did not have this GM button here. Now that we have a committed estimate, it also added a repair progress tab. These are special items for the Collision Repair Network. For the repair progress, if you are a participant in that, this is where you would be going to certify the quality control checklist has been completed, along with accessing their repair procedures within the repair plan as well. You can print out a work order for the technicians right from here as well. So for the GM CRN network participants, once you have your QC and you've accessed your repair procedures here, then you return to your overview, and that's when you can select your GM button and submit that for your reporting. Pretty simple. Once the vehicle has been completed and done, you've been paid, closing your job is very easy. In the job, select the open at the top and closed, and that completes demo 1, because now all you have is your vehicles that are actively in repair for you. So for our second demo, I was talking about the diagnostic scans. So in our diagnostic scans, if you have one of the Mitchell Diagnostics units, you'll see that your diagnostic scans will all be listed here. Every vehicle that your scanner has scanned will be in here. I'm going to use this Mazda for my example. So once again, go back to jobs. And I'm going to create a new job. I'm going to keep this very simple for time efficiency. Paste in my VIN, select my vehicle, click done. And as long as I had that VIN, there are my scans already. I didn't have to do anything further. They're already here for me. And the advantage is, as you notice, it's got historical scans as well. So when that customer returns to your shop for another incident, you have a history of things that you've already worked on so that you can come back to your Connect and see what you've actually done for that customer and bring up their history. So that's how easy diagnostic scans, when using the Mitchell Diagnostics tools, will attach to your job for documentation. Now, my final demo for today is the Toyota template preview. So what Toyota has done for us is provided us with information along with manufacturer's recommended procedures. So I'm going to do another job. Again, I'm going to keep it simple. Save and next. Select my vehicle. Save and next. Done. Once I go to write my estimate, if you recall, our standard options on the left menu bar have 4 icons: split view, parts, estimate, and preview. So for Toyota models, they have provided us with repair procedures for their vehicles, and those are going to be under the templates. So this gives you an opportunity to write an exterior panel estimate for the customer very quickly and very easily. So probably in less time than it will take you to walk out to the car and try to look things over and give them a verbal quote. So if you've all got a stopwatch, please access that stopwatch and get ready to start, because I want to show you how quickly you can do an estimate for a customer. So if you want to start your stopwatch in about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I'm going to repair my bumper. Enter my time. Add lines. I'm going to replace my fender. Add lines. I'm going to blend my door. Without two-tone, and add lines, and stop your stopwatch. Generally, in less than about 30 seconds, notice how I've got 27 lines using my special Toyota templates already on my estimate. And I only selected 3 panels: repair 1, replace another, blend a third. And what Toyota has provided us, and they've spent a lot of time and effort in doing this for us, and we really appreciate it. Notice how it adds the items that are non-reusable parts for your estimate. Front bumper seal, per Toyota, non-reusable part. Headlamps, I didn't select any headlamps, but they are required to remove and install, and check and adjust. This provides you with a lot of information for a proper and safe repair of their vehicles. And those are available for virtually all Toyota models, and there are a few select BMW models as well that they have provided us with the same repair templates. So that concludes our demo overviews of how to write using Mitchell Cloud Estimating, along with attaching diagnostic scans and using the special Toyota templates. So we talked about the special offer notice after the demo. What that is the TechAdvisor Repair Standards special offer. And during these uncertain times, we want you to know that at Mitchell, we're committed to helping your business succeed. That's why we're offering you free access to TechAdvisor OEM Repair Standards through May 31st, 2020, with no strings attached and no commitment necessary. So whether your techs currently have more downtime and could use this opportunity to expand their skill set, or you're humming along business as usual, TechAdvisor offers you up-to-date techniques to ensure a proper and safe repair for nearly every vehicle that comes through your doors. Unfortunately, since this is a presentation, this link, you can't click on it, but you do need to write it down. So I'm going to leave this up for a few seconds. The link is http://go.mitchell.com/2020-free-repair-procedures. So I'll leave this up for a few seconds because the next slide and my final slide in this presentation will be what you will see when you go to that website. Okay, if everybody's had the chance to write down that website, this is where it will lead you to. And again, the OEM repair standards are very similar to the integrated repair procedures, but it is more comprehensive. And this is what your technicians can also access without having to go into your estimating system. So remember, the integrated repair procedures will definitely help you as you're writing your estimate. And then the TechAdvisor repair standards, frame dimensions, and other features that are in there are available outside of Connect as well. And that concludes my demonstration. I do thank you very much for watching.
Hey, John, this is Willis.
Yes,
Thanks a lot, buddy. I appreciate you taking the time to go through that very thoroughly and provide that information out to everybody who was on the call. I also want to make sure we thank everybody that took the time out of your busy days to attend the call. Hopefully you got something out of it. You can always contact your Mitchell representative, and we'll be happy to have a trainer call you if you have individual questions or if you have questions about products. Those folks are more than capable of answering questions on how to get our products and get help for you or questions you may have. So thanks again, John. Thanks for everybody on the call. Kristen, we'll turn this back to you and Jason, and then we'll bow on out. If anybody has questions, please let us know.
Yeah, so I got a question because, you know, I like to write those big old, I mean, my estimates are huge. So how many lines can Mobile Cloud accommodate for me as an estimator?
I have not seen a limit.
Oh,
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's infinite.
awesome.
I have done a couple that were in the 20,000, 25,000, you know, and I'm not talking about Mercedes where every part's $2,000. I've done a couple hundred line estimates, if I recall.
Okay, so we can get to, because typically we're in 250 to 400 in the line range, and so that sometimes causes a problem. We end up having to consolidate or write secondary estimates to, like, here, put these two together, and there's one repair.
I have never,
not an issue.
Perfect.
I have never run into
I've got a question coming through on the chat real quick. Let me grab that too.
Okay.
So Robert wanted to know, what about labor explanation lines? Are they easy to add?
Sure. Let me get back to that since I'm still sharing my screen. I'm going to go into my Toyota Camry, continue my estimate. Okay, so in my split view here, if I need to add an explanation line, I'd click on the line I want it for, click this plus more. I can add a labor betterment, and add additional refinish labor, additional labor directly related to that, or add an explanation. And then
Perfect.
Done.
So, and John, you don't have to go to it, but that'll print right underneath that line on the estimate on the PDF, right?
Yes, it will.
Yeah.
Here we go. There you have it. Okay.
Were there any other questions?
Yeah, if there's anybody that wants to unmute themselves and ask a question or ask them to do something, here's your time.
And then I have Brian Moss, our director of sales, saying, if you have questions, use this number. It's 1-800-238-9111. Again, that's 1-800-238-9111. Perfect. All right, and the Mitchell folks are going to be quiet now.
No.
Which is hard to do. We love this stuff.
I'm just glad I didn't show up as a potato on this thing.
I actually want to figure that out. I read that I was like, I got to figure this out. I mean, I can change my background, but if I could change me, that would be awesome. So
I'm going to stop sharing then if you want. Okay.
Yeah. So one of the things that we wanted to do with this is we wanted to give everybody a chance to, I mean, some of us get to go to trade shows and we get to play with a lot of different software. Some of you don't get to go. So we wanted you to have a chance to see some software that's out there, especially with what's happening with cloud. Device agnostic is huge. So being able to use your estimating software with no matter what you have. If I'm out to dinner and someone stops me and asks about a bumper, if I have my phone, I can write an estimate. If I, there's so many things you can do with that makes it, and you don't have to have a certain browser. So everything's going to go to the cloud. We're there anyway. I don't get a lot of pushback on cloud right now, which is good. We used to get a lot of pushback on cloud. So no one's chiming in. Jason, we're trying to turn Jason into an estimator. He's fighting us. He wants to stay a technician. We're trying to teach him how to estimate.
I got you and Larry. I don't need to. I'm good.
This is how tech gets paid, Jason. This is how they get paid.
I have several times challenged technicians who say the estimators have it easy, and I've brought them up to the front in my shop, and most of them don't last more than a week.
Yeah, it's the hardest. I mean, it's the hardest job in the shop because you've got to be a counselor, a psychologist. You've got to be, maybe not the one that can actually do the welding, but you have to know the repair to be able to write the repair. You got to be a research specialist now to go through all the OE electronics and everything. And then you need to be a hostage negotiator to get paid these days. So that's awesome. Some of the stuff that you demoed.
Kristen did a webinar on that.
Yeah.
And Kristen did a webinar on that. So check into the previous webinars that we did. There's a great webinar on the new estimator.
Yeah. So if I'm not on the cloud right now, let's say you have a current Mitchell user, but they're not on the cloud, or they don't have the materials calculator, which I think is one of your most underutilized pieces of software that you have is your materials calculator and what it does. Is all of that sort of like little pieces of the puzzle that can be added for customers?
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely, Kristen.
Okay. Perfect. I think it's definitely worth a looky, Lou. That materials, you did choose 800J, which as a painter, I'm like GM's worst color ever. Thanks. Thanks for that. So perfect. All right. Well, this one will be available for replay. So obviously if you're the owner of the shop or a single estimator that logged on tonight, took the tour, you can always plug that back. You can reach out to Mitchell. They'll be happy to give you another demo privately if you'd like. And take you through some things. The rep can't come see you, but obviously we're all e-commuting these days and getting into shops. Now's a great time to think about your estimating when you're not trying to fire off so many all day long and working at such a great pace. And then, Jason, we're back tomorrow, right?
Yeah, we are 11:30 tomorrow morning with RSG on corrosion protection. And then our friends from Matrix One will be back in the afternoon at 2 p.m. Central, diagnosing and documenting structural repairability.
Awesome. My favorite topic tomorrow, direct to metal. Is there any such thing as that? So we'll cover it. Willis, John, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. And now we're going to see you guys later in the month. And I should have had it I should have
That's
had it
all
in
right.
front
It's
of me.
next Thursday.
Next Thursday, we're going to be talking about scanning and calibration and a lot of that. So definitely
Yeah, some diagnostic
something.
stuff. Super excited.
Perfect. We're going to go over what is a scan, what's in that time. So excellent. All right. Well, everybody have a great evening, and we will see you again tomorrow morning. Thanks.